you tell us a bit of background to the PRSB, please?
Yes, this all started for me about 8 years ago when Professor John Williams, who's director of the informatics unit, and I met to talk about how we could look at getting some standard for the way the clinical record worked, because the paper record is a well-known disaster area. The challenge was, how could we do that in a way that there'd be agreement that it was something that would work and that people would buy into, because if doctors don't like something, you can bet your life they'll sabotage it. No malice, but that's how it is. So we managed to develop a methodology where we had thousands of doctors contribute to something that turned out to be a standard which had huge value, not just in terms of the clinical benefits, because it was a standard structure, but in terms of how that would help in the electronic environment, because it's an information model which defined the context of clinical information, which allowed you to safely store it, transmit it, and represent it somewhere else. So that's where it was. And people saw the value of this and thought, well, it has to be extended beyond doctors. And so the PRSB was conceived of through originally a working group commissioned by the Connected for Health as a multidisciplinary organization that had not just doctors, had nurses, allied health professions, social care, and hugely important, and probably foremost, very strong patient representation. So that's how we came about. We started working about a year ago, pulling the organization together. We were incorporated as a community interest company in May of last year, and today at our annual general meeting, having organized our structures, we're in business and we're ready to go.
So why is the body so important to clinicians?
Well, I'd like to turn that around. Why is it important to patients? I mean, not just because as a clinician, for me, what matters is what my patient's requirements are, and how am I going to be able to ensure that the way we structure it it makes sense, is safe, is best way to move forward, and by being able to record that in a structured way in an electronic environment is efficient. If it's built around the way we work, that's efficient. Having the standardized structure means that information can be used again, and most importantly, I think probably for the benefit of the health and social care, is you can use that information for other things. So you start knowing what is best practice, you start knowing where the gaps are, you start being able to develop new knowledge. When a drug company develops a product, it'll test it in all sorts of randomized controls in almost laboratory conditions. You only know if it's going to work when it's in real life. How do you know it's working in real life? Unless you have proper, good quality information, then you can't.
So why is the body so unique?
That is, the PRSB is a completely unique organisation. It's independent, it's owned by the professional organisations and the patients, and as such exists purely to ensure that the requirements of those who deliver and receive care, that their requirements can be fully expressed in the care record. That's their raison d'etre, and see that that's enabled and possible. What we're in a position to be able to provide, I would call it unbiased, undirected, no policy, no ulterior motive, independent information which could inform the information centre, the NHS government, the policy makers, the 4 nation governments, because we're a professional organisation, we cover the 4 UK nations. We can formulate what the requirements are, we can ensure that it meets the needs of those organisations, and importantly, we can engage with system suppliers and anyone we like, whatever it is that meets the requirements, and be a loud voice of where we need to go.
And going forward, how do you see your relationship developing with business?
The IT industry and information technology is fast changing. Faster and faster, smarter and smarter, cleverer and cleverer. We've got some very clever, agile enterprises that are developing new products almost day by day. We can't be in a position where we're relying on slow processes to turgidly move us into a new space, and this is how we're going to do it, because in 2 years' time, when you're halfway there, the world has changed again. So by having an environment where you have the patients, the professions, the people providing care, and the industry in one space together, we can work out what's needed, what do the industry need, what do the different industry organisations share, what can they share with each other. And we know that they want industry-wide organisations because of what they tell us. So we hope that during the coming year we're going to have a really dynamic, vibrant organisation which is intelligent and really producing stuff that has a very recognisable value that can help change the practice in our healthcare and social care.